It's that time again, folks. We've got a huge Timberborn update for 1.0 Experimental. We're going to take a quick look at the patch notes and then dive into gameplay on one of the brand new maps included in this update. As always, if you don't want to listen to me yap for a few minutes, you can skip to this time code to jump right to gameplay. Let's get started. First off, there are 15 new map objects. 15! We'll take a look at all of these in detail as we encounter them in game, but real quick. Aquifers are water and bad water sources that we can build drills on to activate. There's also an ancient aquifer drill that may be present, which can be fixed up or scrapped. Natural dams are half-height natural blocks that allow water to spill over. Water seeps are 2x2 items that will emit water up to 0.8 blocks above them and no more, and will definitely come in handy for creative map designs. Reserve warehouses, tanks, and piles are leftover structures with remaining resources from previous settlements. I wonder what happened to those beavers. I don't know if we're ever going to find out, but I'm very curious. Geothermal fields can be harnessed for power using new geothermal engines, and existing engines have been renamed to steam engines. Brambles are new natural obstacles that can appear on maps and will need to be dealt with appropriately, which kind of gives me flashbacks to water beavers. But let's move on. We're also going to have relics in small, medium, and large sizes that can be harvested for science points. And now, the big mystery we all saw in the teaser post prior to this update dropping. This is an unstable core, which appears to be a human relic of a different kind from the ones we just talked about. More or less, it's a giant bomb that we'll need to deal with when it activates somewhere on the map. Could be a big challenge since these have an explosion radius up to 5 tiles. There's also 2 new maps that take advantage of the fun new stuff. Mechanistry has also made a new category of map called Unconventional Maps, which both of these maps fall into, and are joining Diorama and Beaverome, which are maps that we've played in the past. We'll be playing on Oasis in a bit, which is one of the 2 new ones, and the other one is called Pressure, which has a challenging design based around tackling water flow underground. There's changes to other maps as well, and you can check those out in the patch notes, which I have linked in the description. And the next change is an awesome one. Spiral stairs are now available in Vanilla Timberborn. I'm going to make excellent use of these. Thanks very much, Mechanistry, for adding this. It's been needed for a very long time. We can also build a variety of banners for decoration, which should be a lot of fun. And now duplication exists in-game, which will help a ton in configuring sluices, floodgates, and storage buildings. Graphics have been tweaked, and those of you who like to ask for fog to be disabled should be happy with these changes. I haven't had a ton of time to check them out in detail yet, but the preview looks great. There's new animations for deaths and various behaviors, and the UI has also gotten some substantial tweaks. Way too many to mention here, but we'll definitely talk about them in-game. And now, perhaps the most consequential change out of all of these. Waterfall flow limitations are gone. No more edge math, and no more water folding. Probably. There's some big changes to modding as well, so if that's your wheelhouse, then you definitely need to read the full patch notes. But that's all I've got now. Let's jump into this great new update. New game, Folktails, of course, on Oasis. Like I said, on normal mode. I'll see you on the other side of the loading screen. Alright, here we are. It's Beaverburg number 30. We've done 30 series. Well, that's 3 X's. There you go. Don't read into that. So, we've got 8 adults, 4 kits, as we always do. Let's hit pause real quick, just take a look around the map. And this is the new lighting system, which looks a whole lot cleaner. We did mention in the patch note review, if you skipped that, then that's what that is. I don't see as much fog, which is going to be a very good thing for a whole lot of you guys that like to say that that should be disabled. But check out the water. If I unpause this, look at that. I absolutely love that. It looks fantastic. It gives it a whole lot more body, a whole lot more life. But I'm going to keep that paused again so we don't have too much time go by while we're looking around. But you can already see some of these new things right here. Here's a geothermal field. There's another one here. This is one of the ancient aquifer drills, which has to have power to operate. And I don't know where those connect to power. I'm assuming it's probably just on one of these sides here. If we go into power shafts, yeah, you can see that connects nicely there. And it looks like maybe down here, aha, yep. I guess it's just the very top there because it didn't seem to want to connect nice down there. I don't know, that probably will work, but we'll check it out when we get there. This is a relic. Looks, wow, 200 science. Okay, and that's one of the smaller ones too. Do we see any larger ones? I don't want to spend too much time flying around the map here, but I'm assuming we'll see some more of those as we keep looking. Oh, hey, what's this? Yeah, okay, wow, okay, 800 science. So this is the medium one, and there's one other one that's like a half of a satellite dish. I haven't seen one of those. But this right here is one of the aquifers, which has to have something built on top of it. You see the aquifer drill here. that is what goes right like that. I don't know if that's like an actual drill, if there's fracking involved or something, but that's a pretty cool addition to the game. And now you see we have a bad water source here, but if you click on this, it says it's dormant. And that's a new mechanic I didn't explain in the patch notes review, but that is something that you can do as a map maker. You can say a bad water source or anything like that can be dormant with a certain countdown at a certain cycle before it activates. And from poking around earlier, it looks like most of these are set to be dormant. Let me see if I can find another one here. I did spend some time earlier looking at this. Yeah, see, that one is dormant, and then there's other stuff in other places around the map. And if we take this out here, you can see in the middle is a water seep. So this is that new water source I was talking about in the patch notes review. It's only ever going to get this high. So, I mean, any amount of depressed land here is going to get filled to this exact height, nothing more, which is, again, a really, really cool mechanic that is going to kind of force us to be a little bit more adventurous with expanding things instead of just, oh, well, we already have the whole water source right here. You're not going to be able to put this water anywhere else unless you have the mechanical fluid pumps or something to actually move it to a higher level. So that's pretty exciting. Like I said, I didn't find the bomb device, so we're going to have to wait and see exactly what awaits us there. But you can see right here we have the UI up here in the corner now for the messages. It used to be down here. We have a new category for bad water only that I don't remember showing up on this side. So, fun stuff, folks. As we have discussed in every Timberborn playthrough, first thing we always want to do is get trees and water and food going. And we do have berries right here. We've got some pine trees. And of course we do have water, basically infinitely filling up to this height. So we're not really going to run out until we have a bad tide or a drought. Let's get this thing started right here with a lumberjack flag. And I think I'm going to have them come around this side. Let's go to maybe right here. It's only normal mode, you know, so we don't really have to be that worried about any of this. We'll let them get started on that. I will give them a second lumberjack flag. Then we'll also need to have a gatherer flag. This one can be, of course, closer to the berries. Nice and easy. And then as we start getting our logs here, we can put in a water pump. Very, very, very easily, just right there. So away they go. And Beaverbrook 30 is off to a very, very good start. So while they're working on all that stuff, we can take a little bit of a closer look at some of these new things. Of course, we do have regular stairs. You already know what regular stairs are. I don't need to tell you. Spiral stairs, though. And yes, these can flip just like the modded version. Regular platforms you already know about. Zip lines, we had a whole lot of fun with those in the Castle series last time we played Folktails. You already know about bridges. You already know about overhangs. You already know about metal platforms. None of that has changed. And then here is largely the same kind of stuff. Storage is, again, the same. District management's all the same. Housing's the same. Water, I already showed you kind of the aquifer drill being its own separate thing, but everything else, just like you know and love. Same kind of deal with the food and all of these buildings as well for industry. Power, as you can see here, we have the geothermal engine, which over here we have our geothermal fields. Geothermal engine is only 160 science, so this is a pretty early game thing that we can make use of. It makes 400 HP, as long as you have enough planks. It just goes right there. Super simple, super easy. I really like this. I feel like the Folktails really needed something like this since the Iron Teeth have the steam engine, and it makes the same amount of power. So hey, guess what? Fine by me. Science you all know. The well-being stuff remains the same. Decoration remains the same with the exception of our additions in banners. 700 science gets you the pole banner, which of course can be customized. And then the square banner is another 700 science and can just be kind of piled on the ground there. Pretty cool stuff. Hey, you know what I didn't do? In my infinite wisdom, I did not mark all of these trees for cutting. Yeah, it happens every time. It's fine. So this is really encouraging. A really good start. I like this map. From what I was poking around earlier, I think we're going to have a whole lot of fun building this. And it's going to be good with the, I almost said two boys. It's going to be good with the zip lines as well, because there's some interesting vertical stuff we can do, but it's not so up and down that the zip lines aren't going to be a viable option. And since we already have a slope right here, we're going to be able to access this geothermal field pretty quick. I think that is a fun early game goal for us to have stable power. So we'll be taking advantage of that as much as we can. So let's watch these guys work a little bit, because I know they did get some updated graphics and animations for idle stuff. Let's get these guys to, you know, cut the trees down. There we go. Come back over here. I know various things did get updates, but I don't know. I just love watching this, and I never spend a whole lot of time zoomed in on everything, just because, well, I've got, I don't know, 1,500, 1,600 hours in this game, and you've seen basically every second of it uploaded on this channel from day one. I never take the time to admire the animations, and I think that's a mistake, because they're just really, really cool. But yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time for me to get used to these being up here, and not going to lie, I've been looking down here again for 4.5 years. Maybe not quite 4.5, a little over 4 years. It's just really cool to get a fresh start every time we do one of these things. Let's get through the night here on a triple speed. This is completely vanilla, by the way, because, of course, all mods are broken whenever there's an update, so always start each one of these new ones with 0 mods, and we'll see how long it goes before we, you know, really want to have any additional things, but I think things are going to be pretty fun without mods, now that we have spiral stairs and all these other things. You may have noticed, logs show up now under this materials. There's not a separate wood thing here like there used to be in the past. But they are pumping. Let's get this out of triple speed. I think we probably should go ahead and just build a second water pump here so these guys can take care of what they have to take care of. And let's get some water storage as well. Now, I don't have a ton of logs, and we are going to want to make sure that we're not, you know, completely just getting rid of everything quite yet. But we do want to have that, and, you know, we do still have berries. But you can't live on berries alone, so we're going to need to have a farmhouse. Of course, the Folktails have the efficient version that has 3 beavers working in it. And as always, we will start out by planting carrots. Should be totally fine just to have these guys right here. And then, of course, we'll get 2 potatoes a little bit later on when we can actually build a grill and get everything else going. I think the logs right now need to be going to water production, storage, stuff like that. So because it's going to take a couple days to get stuff grown, I am going to have them build this farmhouse first. I know this is kind of a long walk, but it's fine. They'll be alright. Before too long, we'll have everything all nice and organized here. Well, relatively speaking. This is going to be a good early industrial area. Once we get to that point, it is going to take a little bit of time. Do note, by the way, there's no water flow here, so we can't use a water wheel. So it's going to be power wheels, and not the fun ride-on toys from the 90s. Because we can't research windmills quite yet, and obviously geothermal engines are going to require science as well, but they also require planks, which we have to make with power wheels. Alright. Getting most of the way done with this. Shouldn't be too much longer. Yeah, see, the amount of water we're getting here is not quite sufficient. Not quite sufficient. Just get this farmhouse going. Things will be okay. There you go. Get yourself a drink. And get right back to work. Alright, now we got these guys planting. The hats aren't new, but I do like looking at those. This is a good opportunity for you guys to take a note of any visual changes that you see. Because, not gonna lie, I don't remember everything from when I read the full patch notes, but I know that a whole lot of stuff got updated and changed. So it's fun to keep track of all that. I don't know what this guy's doing, just kind of running around getting in the way. You know, that's what kids do. This does look like a new texture for carrots. I could be slightly wrong. I frequently am. But now we've got water pump here, we've got water pump here. I don't think we need to have 3 beavers here right now. I'm going to take this down to 2. And yeah, that's going to put somebody in the pump here that we just built. These are the other buttons that they just added here for copying and duplicating. Very, very useful. We'll put that to use when we have the rest of the stuff set up. It's not quite something we can actually use just yet. They should be able to get this going sooner rather than later. I'm not going to put a path down this way just because I want these berries to spread if we need to be able to utilize those. Right now, I think our biggest concern should be trying to get some science going after we have water storage. I mean, it's normal, so we're not going to have to worry about crazy bad tides in the first cycle or super long droughts. Are usually very mild at the beginning of a normal difficulty playthrough. But they are going to they're going to need some help to get this tank going. I didn't even select water. Good job. Let's make sure that's taken care of. I know I probably could have copy pasted that, but we're not quite there yet. So save all of your boredom collectively. I will fast forward, not in editing, but I'll just put this on triple speed and get the rest of this taken care of as night goes by. 2 beavers have grown up, which means we have more workers, which means we can get more stuff done. That's always good. I'm going to put a 3rd lumberjack flag. See, that's not really going to do much there. That's going to be fine. We also need to put in a tooth grindstone. Yes, I have not forgotten about that. It's just nobody has broken teeth yet, so I figured I could put those logs to better use in somewhere else. Okay, so these carrots are all growing. It looks like we're going to have a little bit more. 6 days, I might be able to get... So we'll plant some potatoes, just so we have them. You know, never hurts to have those. We can store some in the farmhouse if we don't have any storage. I'm very, very curious to see how these water seeps react during droughts. Very, very, very curious. So now I'm going to put this at 1 worker because, well, you don't need a whole lot of farmers to sit there and watch crops grow. That's like watching paint dry. We can take these trees down. And there's nothing else we can really build right now because I haven't placed anything. So, I think it's about time for us to get into some science production. So this is all arable land we can plant stuff on. Let's move up to, say, here. Just because this exists. I'm going to flip this. Let's put 2 here. Just get started on some science production. Of course, these are going to be set to minimum priority. For workplaces, at least. And that's all well and good. We've got 90 water stored, which is fine for right now, but, you know, long term we are going to want to have more. So, actually, you know what? No, I need to be good, and I need to duplicate. So let's click this, and then we'll place this here and here. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. It automatically populates with the water selected. Oh, this is going to save me so much grief. Oh, man. Placing all those storages on the Project 1K playthrough has been such a pain. Hey, but now this is gonna be great. I love that. What a great change. And we have inventors for those who would like to invent. Okay, I've got 28 logs. I think it's probably about time after they, you know, build these tanks for us to have some housing so we can get some more beavers. And especially when food starts to come into the picture here. 66%. Yeah, we're going to have carrots pretty soon. We don't need storage for those quite yet. Remember, the farmhouse can store 50 items by itself. So, you know exactly what's happening here. We're building lodges. I've got 3 of these and then a 4th right here. Just flip-flop that around. Simple, very simple. Early game stuff. I'm going to leave a 2 wide space here so I can put some storage later. Just like so. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to put this lodge here, and I'll tell you why, and that's because medium warehouses, if I were to do this, means that I could have a second one right there. So instead what I will do is I will place this other lodge over here, which is going to leave a little hole here in the corner, which right now we don't really have anything that we can build there. And these lodges won't stay here forever either. Just want to make you aware of why I'm doing that. Just so we can have nice easy access here, and then keep in mind storages. But we're not making enough in the way of logs to really build all of this stuff just quite yet. We want to make sure that we are working toward the ability to get up to other areas, which are going to require stairs. We can get up here, but, you know, there's no trees here. We just have the geothermal field. But here, we've got oaks, which seems like the next logical step, but that, of course, is going to require science. And we need 70, you know, plus the planks, so there's no time like the present to start the beaver suffering. So, you know, you got to run on the wheel. That's just how it works. Got to make it happen. And I did say this is going to be our industrial area, so we might as well just start right off with the power wheel here and a lumber mill right next to it. 50 HP created on the wheel, plus the movement modifier of the beaver. 50 HP consumed by the lumber mill. Okay, that sounds not irritating at all. How are we looking on our carrots? 73%. Not too shabby. 107 water. We probably at some point soon should build more storage and not worry about pumping quite so much. This is, again, this is already fine for the first drought. So I'm going to put this on triple speed here. We don't want stuff to get built before I pause the game so I can think. We don't want stuff to get built before we run out of wood here. So let's get the lumber mill built and the power wheel so we can actually make planks so that we can get to more wood. I know housing is important, but it's not the most important thing. That's my thought process behind that. These guys aren't going to be able to reach all of this forever. See, this is exactly why I left no path here so I could grow crops and I can still have my berries for right now. Not going to need the berries forever. But we do need to be able to get a little bit closer to the rest of this wood. Depending on how many more we have to do this, we got 22 in storage. Storage, quote-unquote, it's all in the lumberjack flags. Yeah, we should be fine. We'll be fine to get that going, and then once we have planks, we'll be able to build staircases. Well, as soon as we have the science, at least. Those guys are going to work for that, and I think we're about to have carrots. So let's put this other beaver back in the efficient farmhouse. Might actually, no, I got my beaver mental math wrong. I guess it took him out of the thing there. Tell you what, I'm gonna pause this one flag just to even things out. Yeah, look at that. Here we go. We got carrots. Gonna pull those out of the ground. Yeah, if this isn't a new model, I'm going to be very surprised. Of course, feel free to tell me I'm wrong. That's always allowed. Yeah, now we have actual food. How about that? We're going to need to have some storage for carrots probably sometime soon, but I think getting everything else taken care of here is good. All right, 3 planks. Very good. We only need 4 to make stairs, but I also can't unlock the stairs yet because we don't have the science for it. So that's fine. We also need to get a forester going. But since we have so many oaks right here, just very close to start, I'm not going to worry about planting trees quite yet. We also have these pines that will grow up in due time, in a couple days' time. And I think for right now, I'm only going to let them make a couple of planks, then I can hit pause on both of these buildings, get those beavers back doing other things. I've got 7. The forester takes 7. And the stairs take 4. I want to make sure I can build 1 forester and 1 staircase, which is going to get us 11 planks. We're pretty close to there now. I don't know if they're going to finish that before the end of the workday here. Nope, not quite. Not quite. That's at 35%, but that's fine. That is perfectly fine. Oh, they built the houses anyway. Okay, well, that's okay. As long as I have 1... or I think it's 1 log left. Yeah. Oh, I kind of missed the big overlay here with a high score, but you know, that's fine. That's fine right there. I can still click on these, right? Yes. Okay. Very good. All right, I've got my 11 planks. Let's hit pause on both of those. Not quite at 70 science yet, but very soon, folks. 67, 68. 69, and 70. Yeah, we'll just do this right here. Keep it kind of out of the way of this generator. Or where we're going to place a generator in the very near future. Yeah, let's put that right there. Build the staircase, and then right over here is going to be the lumberjack flag attached to a path. Get these marked for cutting. They're all dead, so it doesn't matter if I cut all of them down. That's fine. Now, what's under here? Is this just a... okay, I thought it might have been a little tunnel for us here. Nope, not quite. But since we've peeled this down, there are some opportunities for us to explore the map without having to blast tunnels. And that's always fun and exciting. I think so, at least. All right, yeah. See, now we're looking pretty good. I'm going to pause all of these. Let these pines just kind of regenerate for a little bit. And now, once we get a little bit more science, just a couple more points, we can unlock a forester and get one of those built. That's going to be good. I see we have 31 science. There we go. All right, so, you know, until we have our first bad tide, this is going to be an extremely, extremely good place for us to be growing things. So let's, right here, just right in the middle, super convenient, stick that right there, get our path hooked up to it, and then we can start planting trees. So, Folktails can also plant blueberries, well, they can all plant blueberries, but dandelions come from the forester as well if we want to make some of that medicine stuff. Birches, which have been buffed, not this update, but recently enough where some people might not be aware. They only take 7 days to get 1 log. It used to be 9. Pine trees, 12 days, 2 logs, and then of course we have the pine resin as well, but that's a lot later. We're going to make use of that. Chestnut trees, 23 days for 4 logs, or you can get chestnuts. Maple, I don't think this has changed at all, and then oak trees, 30 days for 8 logs. So, every time I put a forester in for the first time, there's at least a few of you who say I really need to make sure that I'm planting all sorts of different types of trees. I don't think it really matters that much, to be perfectly honest with you. But I will plant some oaks here. I'm going to try to get a head start on some maples, just so we have those. And we're probably not going to need to have a ton when we first start out here, but this should be okay for right now. Don't want to take up too much space. Chestnuts, though, those are useful because, well, it's food, and you can make different things with the different recipes I say as I click on stuff that is not chestnut-based. Grilled chestnuts. Gotta love it. So they are going to take a long time to grow in, but I will place some here, and those can be gathered at a later point in time. But this is going to be a good start. Then we have all of these pine trees that are going to slowly get picked back up. I will throw you guys a bone, though, and I will plant a couple of rows of pine trees here. I'm leaving this space open in case I want to do some storage or other access things. So I've got a couple rows of oaks, a couple rows of pines. I've already got these. I'm not planning on using those for wood. And then this space here can also start being oaks. So the forester beaver is going to be kept pretty busy. We'll let them get to it. We already have all of these ready to get cut down. That should be pretty good. Well-being score of 5. Just X out of that. And now we have some potatoes that we pulled out of the ground. We don't have anything to do with those yet. So, we have to have a grill so we can actually make some, well, grilled potatoes. And depending on how I want to lay this out, if I put this, say, right about here, that's going to allow me to have 2 other storages. I know we don't have to be hyper-focused on having the most efficient layout ever, and that's not really the spirit of the Folktails anyway, but that's usually how I like to play. Nope, wrong one. There we go, grilled potatoes. We don't need a storage for the grilled potatoes yet because the grill, if I'm remembering correctly, holds 120. So we can actually use this as the storage for the first little bit. Instead, we should have storage for the raw potatoes. Because when you actually grill potatoes on this, you get 4 times as much. So that's usually what I like to do, is store the raw materials if I can only pick one, or if I only want to pick one, just so that we have plenty of potential food energy stored up. And this can also become another warehouse for carrots at least for right now. Not a bad early game start here. Let's get a third beaver in the farm so we can harvest all of these things. Yeah, look at all these trees. Look at all these trees. And you know what? Next we should probably start working toward getting that geothermal generator. Engine. I'm always just going to call it a geothermal generator because that's what my brain always wants to do. It's fighting a losing battle with terminology in this game for the past 4 years. But this is honestly pretty achievable early game. Just 160 science. Sure, 50 logs is a lot, but it's not going to take us that long to get those. And the benefits are going to be great because there's no fuel for this. It's just, it comes out of the ground. Well-being score of 6. Yep, not looking too bad at all. Although before we invest any logs into building industrial stuff, I am going to build another lodge over here. See if I can find a decent spot to put something like this. I do like the idea of kind of making these little neighborhood things. And I'm not going to have room to put anything else here. So if I did this, that would probably make sense. So we go as 15, which is 3 extra beds for some baby beavers. And we do have that drought coming in 3 days. So let's also, I know they got a lot of stuff to build. They got a lot on their minds. That's just, you know, how things go. But they should be able to take care of that. I might give them a little bit more help over here with an additional lumberjack flag. Just so these guys can get to work. Again, I'm not in a huge rush to build a geothermal engine. See, there you go. I said the correct words. Not in a huge rush to do that quite yet, but I would like to do that. I would. Get it? Beavers. Anyway, I'd like to do that before the end of our first episode here. Well-being score of 7. Nice progress. These oaks being planted now already at 7%. 9%. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff, because these, again, take forever and a day to grow. So our potatoes can go right in here. In fact, we can probably start planting some more stuff, depending on how we want to utilize this. Folktails don't need the berries like the iron teeth do, because they don't depend on those for breeding purposes. And there are no base game recipes that use berries. So we don't need to feel bad about getting rid of these. It's always a little sad because, oh, it's this, the berries, it's cool. But no. Our interests are much, much better served by planting potatoes in this spot. So they'll take care of this. They'll get these things out of here in a time of their convenience. Yeah, I think we're fine. I think we're doing just fine. But we do still have 1.2 days. This isn't actually full yet. And again, we're not going to run out of water the first drought on normal difficulty. It's just not happening. But, you know what? I missed an opportunity. You guys got to hold me to this. We can use the duplicate function and build 2 more small tanks, and then I don't have to go back and select. I love that so much. It's going to take a while for me to get used to it. But we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Don't be afraid to remind me. Cutting down trees. Things going pretty well. I love this. This is such a cool addition to the game. Like, I've wanted something like this for a really long time. If you remember our update 4 playthroughs, I think, there was a mod that basically turned the, I want to call it the Abyss because that's what the Water Reavers call it, but no, this is vanilla Timberborn. This thing. The Underground Ruins. You could build a power plant, a geothermal power plant on one of these. Which I think RCE called it a nuclear power plant, which, okay, that's not what it was, but still a cool name. So then, of course, I started calling it that, and everybody else started calling it that, because that's how it goes, you know. Somebody says it, and then it sticks. That's how language evolves. But anyway, the mod was for a geothermal power plant, and it made some crazy amount of electricity, like 16,000 HP or 20,000 or something. Let's pause here, because I said that I wanted to check and see what happens. Oh, just look at this water. When a drought happens, is this going to recede back into the ground, or is it just going to stay here? It looks like it's staying here. Okay, well that's good, because if this was just look at that. That's so cool. I know it's just a really, really simple animation, but it looks great. Yeah, if this receded into the ground, it would be game over. It'd be so bad. No, things are looking pretty good. We're starting to get some additional beavers. Our first time being over 12 population. No one has died yet. I'm fully expecting that to change very soon. But yeah, we're looking pretty good, folks. We've got 40 logs. We don't technically have log storage. They're just stuck in here. And we're already down 2 vacancies, I think. Let's see, those are already... Yeah, I'm going to have to turn this back on so I can make some more planks. We also need to have storage in piles so we can have all that other stuff. See, I don't really have a great place to put this up here with how I have everything organized. But this is eventually going to be an industrial area, so, you know, it really shouldn't be a big deal for us to get stuff moved around. Let's do this. Move that over one more, and then I'm going to have a space right here, right in front of the doorway. That can be storage for, I guess we'll just say logs. That's going to be the thing we really should have the most storage for. At this stage of the game, planks are being consumed basically as soon as we make them, assuming we have a project that uses them. So we'll keep that organized best we can. Need to get some more housing as well so we can get our numbers up a tiny bit. But we do still have 3 vacancies, so I'm not going to rush to build another lodge just quite yet. Yeah, see, look at that. We got 58 out of 120 grilled potatoes stored in here. We got a mostly full storage of carrots. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. Now, we don't have the technology yet to do wheat, at least processing anything, so I don't think I'm going to worry about growing that right now. But planting some more potatoes is almost certainly going to be a good idea. And let's put another path in here so we can get the rest of these berries out. Ah, you know what? They are still all the way over here. They're too far away to be they're too far away to be removed, but they have no problem planting here. Okay, so you know what? Another thing they said in the patch notes was that they can demolish crops a whole lot faster. So let's put that to the test. I'm going to take these 3 out. See how quickly they can remove those on 1x speed. Well, they said it was faster. They didn't say it was instantaneous. Oh, cool! I don't remember that being a thing, the progress bar for the demolition. That is a nice addition, if it's actually a change. If it's not, then, well, that's my fault for not knowing it. Okay, you know what? I will admit that is substantially faster. I mean, it's not instant, and you know it's not going to be, but that's a cool thing. 103 science yaks. We took those guys out of here. No beaver working in here yet. Ah, because I don't have enough. Let's pause this lumberjack flag. And considering their water situation's looking really good, I am going to pause this pump. Now we're down to 4 vacancies. We have 2 workers, and oh, you know what we haven't done? We haven't renamed the district center. You do have to do that the first time. There you go. Good stuff. But it is nighttime for our beavers now, so we'll go ahead and advance through that. Yeah, we just need more beaver bodies. They got to get busy and make us some more beavers, and then we'll be able to fill most of our jobs. But before too long, we are going to want to add in another lodge. I don't like to have too many open spaces because you can get birth waves and death waves pretty easily if you don't regulate that. Is this still in range? Nope, that is out of range because I did not put the last path in. And that's still out of range. Okay, well, they'll take that out. That's fine. You know what? I always forget about sunflowers. We should plant some sunflower seeds over here. These take 5 days, so having them far away from the farmhouse probably isn't the worst thing ever. But what I'm going to do is unplant this 5x4 area here, and then I'm going to plant this as potatoes. We just kind of rotate stuff around, because I do want to have sunflower seeds. Because they take longer to grow, they probably should be closer to the farmhouse, at least for right now. 72 logs, 1 plank. Where are the rest of my planks going? Oh, they still, yeah, they haven't gotten in here. That was the issue at hand. Still planting trees here, so you know that's fine. But we don't have any active construction projects, so I'm going to deprioritize the district center as a workplace and let those beavers go off and do other stuff. Like, for example, making planks, because we do need to have planks. We only need to make another 57 science, too. But we're not going to have that for a little bit, so we probably should build another storage for planks. And, yeah, I know I said that ugly is ugly, so on and so forth, but yeah, I'll just do this. Planks there, get that connected to the pathway. You want to be able to have spaces for that stuff to go. And I know because we don't have anybody working the district center, it's not going to get done quite yet. I just wanted to make sure we could get the rest of this stuff taken care of. This can be planted as sunflowers, just because that's already there. Water is still looking pretty okay. Now, but I think since we have 76 logs, I'm going to pause that lumberjack flag. And they can't do anything else with these until that storage is built, so I'm going to take them out of here. And I think... Oh, well, never mind. They just built all of that stuff. Well, that's fine. I can't pause the district center for obvious reasons, but I can take one beaver out of here, and then that will give us at least one inventor ready to go. And all the trees have been planted, so guess what? Forester is paused, and now the forester can go think instead of planting trees. There you go. And getting it done however you have to get it done. All right. So it shouldn't be too much longer before we get our science ready for that. We already talked about food stuff here. If I wanted to do stuff with wheat, all I have to do is build a grist mill and then a bakery. We can also, if we want to spend science early, which I don't think at this point is worth us doing yet, build an aquatic farmhouse, and then all of this space here can be used to grow aquatic plants. But don't forget, folks, this is going to, at some point, have bad water coming out of it. And that is going to be a challenge we are going to have to be very prepared for, because it's going to kill all of our crops and likely a good portion of our trees. So, if you're wondering why I was putting so much emphasis so early on getting crops planted and actually stored, well, that's why. Because it's going to be a big, big problem if we don't have that taken care of. Alright, now I have one unemployed beaver. And you know what? Honestly, I should take one out of here, and then I can have them on the power wheel and the lumber mill. Let's get that back on triple speed. Make some more of those planks, because we're almost to 160 science, which is going to give us our geothermal engine. Always a good time to get to the fun new stuff immediately in the first episode of a new series. I know a lot of people who play this game do the short edited episodes, and that's fine. But I always like to play like this, where I show absolutely everything that happens, and we have a good time with authentic experience of playing the game. Alright, only 13 science away, and we are halfway, just about, to our required number of planks to have a geothermal engine going. And that's going to save us at least one beaver worth of labor, because we don't have to run on the power wheel anymore. Just about there. So close. I can almost smell the sulfur. There we go, 161. Let's get that science unlocked. And it doesn't matter which way this is rotated, because it doesn't have to be manned or beavered. So yeah, they're going to build that. That's the new fun construction project. Let's just watch them do this real quick. I think we might get a couple of stages of building here. I know they have the partially complete thing. We might have to wait and see exactly how this evolves. It's only at 10% for right now. But it is nighttime, and the beavers are going to go to sleep. Probably about time for us to build another set of lodging over there. But I do want them to finish this so we can start relocating our industrial stuff and have that be just a whole lot more efficient. Whoa, hold on. This is new. I told you, this has to be activated. A bad water source is turning on in 4 days. Let's click on it and see if it takes us there. And it does. Okay. Oh, look at this. It's menacing. It's menacing. Oh, that's awesome. That's like a little volcano erupting. Let's put it on single speed. That is so cool. How close is that? Okay, yeah, it's right there. So when this activates, it's going to come up and then down here. Oh, you know what? It's going to go over here. It's going to be pretty close. Pretty close to what we're doing. Okay, so you know what? That gives us an opportunity. Wait a second. Oh. Oh, okay. So the brambles block irrigation and contamination. Interesting. But they're in a waterway here. I don't think this is going to stop any liquids if it gets submerged. So I'm very, very interested to see what happens here. So I think the thinking, and I don't know anyone who's gotten far enough in this update as of less than 24 hours after this got dropped. It's 10:50 p.m. Eastern time as I'm recording this right now. And this update dropped at 5 a.m. Eastern time. So I guess probably around lunchtime for our friends in Poland who programmed the game. Good time to drop an update, you know. Put that out there, go get your lunch, come back and see if people have any bug reports for you. But I digress. I was thinking, you know what, we could just build something to block this. But one, it's really far away, and we probably don't need to be worrying about it that much. Is this a blockage or a natural dam? I haven't bothered to click on it. Okay, that's just a regular blockage. I think that got slightly redesigned. If not, then I'm just losing my mind. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Are there any others that are going to become active? No. Okay, so they're staged. All right. All right, good to know. If I had the resources and the time, in this episode at least, I would send some beavers down here to just put some stuff here. I know we still have to research regular levees, but that'd be a good opportunity. And since these come on at different stages, you could really make a good challenge map with this, with different zones that you could incentivize players to play in at different stages of the game, based on what is and is not active. I love this new mechanic. That is such a good addition. But now I want to go back to the engine here. Okay, we do have all the planks made, so that's good news. We only have one beaver working on this, so let's put this back to 2. There we go. There we go. Let's get that back on triple speed. Get this taken care of here. Very, very curious to see if this gets another intermediate stage of construction. I don't think so. If that's already 50%, that might be all we get. But that's fine. All right, I have another unemployed beaver. Well, I guess we'll put you in the water pump. That is fine. We'll plant our sunflowers here, since those potatoes have been harvested. And sunflower seeds just get eaten. Okay, now we have this flashing for 3 days. Oh, you know what? Okay, that's interesting, because that was the sound for a new cycle thing. But it played at 3 days on the bad water source, not at 4. Okay. I don't want to miss this getting built. I'm getting real close, although I think I've exhausted all the logs. Hold on. Yeah, let's hit pause on this. Since I normally would not do this like this, but we already know this is going to get rebuilt anyway, so let's remove these. We'll pick the logs up off the ground and rebuild them elsewhere. There's a good amount of logs down here. I mean, not like a ton, but enough to finish this. And then we can get some other stuff popped in right next door. This is going to be a great place for us to put a lumber mill or 2. And then eventually a gear workshop and all of the other fun stuff you know and love. But yeah, it's about to be nighttime again, so I don't think they're going to get this finished today. Oh, they might actually. Oh, not quite. Not quite. 1 left. And then, of course, they have to actually finish construction. Yeah, but I'm liking this. I'm liking this a whole lot. You know, it's nighttime. Go to bed. What are you walking around for? None of you are homeless. There you go. There you go. Get your 2 hours of sleep and then wake up and go to work and, do that for 3 straight months and let me know how that feels. You can do it when you're young, but that does not last forever. All right, so now we got our last couple of pieces here. I'll get this turned around. We can watch that. Alrighty. Got Teshi over here. Going to bring us our last log. And then we will be able to behold the geothermal engine in all of its glory, just as soon as this is complete. There you go. Alright, look at that. It's got the steam and everything. That's so cool. How about that? Free energy from the earth. Fantastic. And now we can rebuild our lumber mill. And we'll have a... It's further away, yes, but... Now we don't have to have a beaver running on the wheel to power this mess. And that is good news. Can also put a grist mill and all that stuff up here eventually. But for now, you know what? That's pretty good. And then all of these well-being things that use power also could be a great way to make use of this. So, yeah, you know what? It's just about time for us to end this episode. I try not to make the first ones too terribly long, but most of these usually end up to be about an hour. So we've got a little bit of time left. Let's get that taken care of. And we don't have a campfire, so let's build one of those. I guess I'll just put this over here so it's kind of out of the way. Not too shabby. We'll get this brought over. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I guess this is fine. We'll just do one of these. Get some more water stored probably would be a good idea. We do have to research the medium tank and also have gears for that. So for now, it's probably not a bad idea for us to have additional planks. But I keep forgetting. It's going to take a long time to get that muscle memory to go away. We can just build additional tanks by duplicating. It's glorious. Absolutely glorious. This is going to be a good place for another storage, but I don't quite have enough trees for that yet. Let's unmark, before I have this go back here, let's unmark these pines. Because we still have these that we can cut down, and these are eventually going to be used for resin anyway. I'd like to just keep these for a while. We do need to mark these oaks, and same with these up here. And everything else should be good to go. I just need to get some more logs, so that's going to go there. I know there's still some up here, but this is a little bit closer, at least for the beavers, and then they can just move stuff around as they choose. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay, campfire definitely is not going to be done in time for people to sit around there, or beavers, not people. But I guess we can watch this bad water source activate, see if there's an interesting new animation besides this. And we'll, of course, take it off at triple speed before that starts. In just a moment here. All right, single speed. I'm expecting this to just, transition into the bad water coming out of it, but it's worth checking out. All right, so the little spurts have stopped. Yep, there we go. Pretty much exactly what I thought. But I'm very curious to see exactly how this flows, because we know it's going to eventually make its way over here. But how long will it take? That could be useful information for the future when we are actually expanding to other areas here. I will get this to triple speed. So we're already getting about halfway up that crater it's in after only like a third of a day. Okay, we got beavers dying of old age. That's fine. We can replace them. Yeah, so not even half a day, and it's already taken care of basically this entire thing here. That is going to be an interesting thing for us to deal with when the rest of these turn on. I'm very curious to see when the rest of these do turn on. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but that should be fun. I also don't know where the giant bomb thing is on this map. I wasn't able to find it. So maybe it only appears when it's about to go off. That would be an interesting and slightly frustrating challenge to deal with. Yeah, but that's fine. That's fine. We're going to get a drought warning today. And yeah, we did. Okay. So, you know what? This is a good time for us to stop for the day. Yeah, this is already up here. One full day later. And this is probably about as high as this is going to get because this flows out through here. If we peel this back, the layer tool. This is another reason why I really love what they've done with the game. Now this is possible. It didn't used to be possible. this is completely buried under a couple of layers. And you have this nice crossover bit here as well. Depending on what else ends up getting flowed into here. It's a nicely done map. I just like this a lot. So, yeah, that's about the size of it where we're going to have everything infected over here. I thought it was going to be a little bit worse. So, I will take that any day of the week. We got our geothermal engine in the first episode. And we've got the start of a decent tree farm. And we've got multiple types of food. Coming up on 4 types of food, technically, when our sunflowers come in. And then we can get into other things. Of course, chestnuts. And another math 15 days. Something like that. No, that's absolutely incorrect. It's like 17, 18, 19, maybe 20 days. I wasn't very good at math, but what I am good at is saying thank you to the beard boosters who subsidize all these videos, everything else on the channel, making sure that we don't have sponsors that you guys are probably sick to death of seeing. I just enjoy playing games on here, and I enjoy this great community we've cultivated over these past 30 series of Timberborn playthroughs, and the other games as well, but right now the Beavers are kind of taking center stage with all the fun new stuff we've got. So yes, I'm very thankful that you choose to watch these videos. If this is your first one, thanks for checking me out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If not, that's fine, because there's tons of great people on this platform who make content, and I'm sure there's going to be somebody who you gel with, if it's not me, but I hope it is. I'd love to have you here for the rest of this series and the other 3 Timberborn series we have going on right now. I really wanted to finish the Project 1K playthrough before they dropped this new version, but you're never going to know exactly when it happens. It just happens, and then you're like, okay, well, let's just get it done. That's the way things go. But I've got to head out, get this video uploaded, and I'm so excited to share this new series with you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.